and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings. I'm of course your VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat and by my plushes as well. And welcome to something special, welcome to something unique. Welcome to the LATAM League quarterfinals. Los Latino Americans, they're coming out strong here, and we're jumping into our round of 8, our top 8 players of this tournament. Welcome one and all. Now, this is a tournament that has been running over the past couple of weeks. They've been going through their group stage. Unfortunately, we were offered to cast the groups, but if you know anything about the CranKy Ducklings, you'll know that over the past week we've been very busy and very engrossed in EWC. In the Esports World Cup, we were completely engrossed in non-stop qualifier after qualifier after qualifier, so we missed out. We missed out on the group stage. We missed out on the group stage of the Latin American StarCraft League, but now we are here at least for the playoffs, for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and grand finals thereafter. You can hear the beats. We are jumping into the round of 8. Exclamation mark be in the chat, and you can see our temporary Wikipedia page. Again, the page is being updated as we speak. Likewise, we also have, we'll go over the bracket after this series. We're jumping into our first series of the broadcast. Here we go, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Bolivian Zerg player, the veteran, the legend himself. It has been far too long since we featured him. Representing Unidos por el Vicio, it is DarkUnnamed. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Bing Bong Esports. It is Mute. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvZ. For those of you that are maybe newer viewers of the CranKy Ducklings and maybe haven't been watching since 2020 or 2019, you might not be familiar with some of our players here. Hold on, let me just quickly fix up our player in-game. I got you. Bam, beautiful. As we jump into our ZVP, DarkUnnamed, of course, he was at one point one of the best Zerg players in all of Latino America. Back in the day, you know, when EPT was first announced, and even coming into EPT, I'm talking 2019, 2020, 2021, that is when DarkUnnamed was in his prime, and he was up there along players like Jaime, like Jim Rising, like Eggs, El Huevito, like Ryu as well. DarkUnnamed, he was one of the best. And he did retire. DarkUnnamed, he did retire a couple of years ago. I want to say like maybe 2022. It's been like 3 years. So it's been a couple of years since DarkUnnamed has been retired. But if you've been tuning into the podcast, you'll know that we covered a new tournament recently that was hosted like maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, was the Bolivian StarCraft tournament. There was a tournament for Bolivian players, and we noticed DarkUnnamed was there. DarkUnnamed, he made his return. We were shocked to see him again. We were shocked to see a Bolivian tournament to begin with, and he had a ride for that. He actually won the entire thing as well, even beating Ryojin in the finals. So it's really cool to see the return of DarkUnnamed. Of course, many years later, I don't think he's full-time anymore. I don't believe he is full-time anymore. Not like he used to be back in the day. More so playing for fun, playing as a hobby more than anything. But he's back nonetheless. You're never really gone, Bob. You're never really gone. Shelby even made his return, of course. We'll get into Shelby later, potentially. But yeah, it's great to see the return of DarkUnnamed after many years. Infamously, DarkUnnamed has one of the longest names in StarCraft, and we used to use his name as a template when making thumbnails. Shout out to the LATAM StarCraft 2 League as well. So great to see him back, great to see him return. Now, how does an old veteran compare to one of the young blood up-and-comers? Mute, he is newer to the StarCraft 2 scene. Like, we would cover the Latin American StarCraft region quite often. Years ago, 2019, we were the official stream for Copa America. We covered Sentimiento Latino and Copa Hyperion throughout the course of 2020, 2021, 2022 as well. We were also covering EPT LATAM. Mute, he rose up in more recent years. Mute, I want to say he hit the field like 2024. Like, he used to be a player many years ago, then he took a break, but he recently came back, I want to say last year. So Mute is a lot newer, a lot fresher, a lot more of a fresher face to the StarCraft 2 scene, to the StarCraft 2 community, at least in Latino America, and he has risen up the ranks very hard. He has devoted a lot of time. He has improved greatly. Mute, I'm sure you've seen him more regularly in tournaments, even in KSL, in Korean StarCraft League. Notably, Mute, he beat Classic. He forced Cure to the ace match. Like, Mute, I would say right now he's one of the few that is practicing quite a lot in Latin America, is improving quite a lot, and is probably the favorite player here, just because we're going to be featuring a lot of players that retired many years ago, and Mute is a more modern player. Until then, though, we are moving out. We do have our Oracle across the map in towards the main. Again, standard opener out of mute, going Stargate into a third base. Lings, they attempt to delay, but so far, this Adept is in a very nice position. Trades very efficiently. Second Adept has arrived, and the Lings, oh, they do get wasted here. That was 5 Lings going down. They don't get any damage. At the same time, Oracle breaks in. DarkUnnamed does at least defend his main, and likewise will defend his third as well. Does defend his bases, will deflect mute. So far so good. Behind this, early Twilight Council gateway explosion on the way. Mute, this feels like Glaive Adepts. This does feel like a Glaive Adept follow-up. Meanwhile, that is a 420 timing with the lair. So early lair out of DarkUnnamed, early Twilight Council out of mute, but a later Forge. The Forge tells us this most likely is not going to be Glaive Adepts. This most likely is going to be Blink instead. Oracles, they poke in. They don't get much done. 1 drone has gone down in total, but only 1 worker so far. DarkUnnamed, he is defending well. He is keeping up. He is defending well. He is going to be able to secure his bases. As we mentioned with the arrival of the Forge, tells us Blink. Yeah, Blink is on the way. Now, there's going to be a disparity. There's going to be a timing here in between Blink and the Forge, in between Blink and +1. And Mute, he can be more aggressive here as a result. So earlier Blink timing means earlier activity with those Stalkers, means he can apply pressure and potentially deny the 4th base. The 4th base specifically. So we'll see if we can get there. As we just see Mute dive into the mineral line, gets 2 more drones, 2 more workers do go down, not bad. Does take down 2 workers. Behind this, we spoke about the fast lair. There it is, fast overlord speed. Now, I would assume that this would be for an all-in. Like, you typically don't get overlord speed here at this level of play unless you're planning to go for drop alerts, right? Unless you're going for the German taxi. Otherwise, this is kind of a waste of resources. But because DarkUnnamed has been gone for so long, I don't know if he necessarily has that in his kind of tool set. I don't know if that's something that he's willing to do. I don't know if something that he's aware of. He might just be playing very safe, just very safe. But based on the Overlord kind of explosion, based on another Queen coming out, this should be for drop alerts, but we'll see. Yeah, Roach production has begun. Another Queen is coming out. This should be for an all-in. I'm assuming a 3-base all-in here out of DarkUnnamed. 4th base just for Lava. There we go. Roaches are amassing. Going to be all or nothing. Back at home. Mute, what does he have to defend? So far, he has Stalkers. No Immortal production is working towards Storm, working towards Archons, working towards High Templar. That won't really help when it comes to the defense against the all-in. And we'll see how hard a DarkUnnamed can hit. We're waiting for the Jumbo Lords. Show us what you got. Stalkers are going for the 4th. We spoke about it. Might remember, early Blink means you can't deny the 4th base. And DarkUnnamed doesn't have enough. He does not have enough. The base is denied. Mute's moving in. That means less lava to work with. And DarkUnnamed, no link production. Uh-oh. Yeah, no links here. I mean, he's trading with the Stalkers, but nice link control here out of Mute. He does not lose a single Stalker. And he's completely shutting this down. Stasis goes off as well. Ay, ay, ay. Stalker's getting low. He does go for the dive. A bold dive here out of Mute. Yeah, very bold. That was, what, 5 Stalkers now going down. Another Stasis does go off once again. But remember, DarkUnnamed, he should be all in. He should be all in. There it is. There are the Drop Lords. Okay, so we see Overlord speed. We were curious if it was going to be for Drop Lords. The answer is yes. The answer is it will be. And here we go. Is going for the all-in. It's all or nothing for DarkUnnamed. And behind this, a Mute, he's throwing down cannon. Shield, he has read this well. I mean, he already denied the 4th, right? He denied the 4th base. He knows his opponent is crippled. He knows that DarkUnnamed is hurting. Now it's all about defense. Here we go. Can we pull this off? I mean, if we can bait out the stasis traps, Storm is done. Yeah, Storm is done. That is brutal. Pushing into Storm is not going to be easy. Now, DarkUnnamed, dropping into the mineral line. Okay. Dropping in towards that natural. Queens, they do drop off. They shut down the Oracle. Oracle goes down. There you go, the Storms. Yeah, first juicy Storm here on the Ravagers. Likewise, oh god, the Storms. Oh god, the Storms are too good. The Storms are solid. At the same time, Lings, they drop in, but there's a cannon in position. Looks like the wall's going to be broken. Lings, they can't flood forward, but once again, more Storms. Yeah, the Storms are brutal. And with that, DarkUnnamed, he's running out of steam. He's running out of roaches. He does take every Storm to the face. Lings, they break through the cannon. They do start to kill workers, but there's offensive warp in, and Mute will defend. He will defend. He will shut this down. Takes down every single Queen, the roaches, the Ravagers, everything. And with that DarkUnnamed, he is running out of steam. He's running out of army. Remember, he never expanded because his base was denied. No 4th base behind this, no economy, no base count, no production. And here comes the counterattack. Mute, he's moving out. And again, good read out of Mute after he had hit that 4th to respond with his wall of cannons and shield batteries. did respond well. And with that, Mute is going for the kill. At the same time, DarkUnnamed does hit that natural. It does hit the natural. Likewise, I mean, Mute, he could just commit. Like, he doesn't have to come back home. He doesn't have to come back. So Mute playing a say, there we go. I was waiting for the rest of the army of Mute. He's going to stabilize control, collapses on the queens, collapses on the roaches. Hydra's going to be trickling in, but again, Mute will clean this up. He will shut this down. And again, the all-in has failed. GG gets called, and Mute, he will take game at number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Mute will take a lead in the series. And again, we did mention earlier that Mute, he's currently favored in the tournament. Again, DarkUnnamed, it has been a while since he has been competitive, but I'm happy to see him here and seeing his initial build as well. It all comes together, it all makes sense. It's very modern as well. That's what I'm most curious by, is what is DarkUnnamed looking like after many years of retirement? And has he been keeping up with the meta? We're here to find out. We're here to find out. Let's go. I see someone asking in the chat, Dark Unretired. If you just tuned in, and if you are a little bit newer to the StarCraft scene, DarkUnnamed is a Bolivian Zerg player. He was active many years ago. We used to cast him back in 2019, 2020, 2021. He did retire around 2022, and he has been gone for many years. But again, he did come back recently to StarCraft. It's great to see him back. Great to see him back. Again, more as a hobbyist, less committed than he once was. He isn't like a full-time player anymore like he used to be many years ago. So I'm most curious, most excited to see how he is looking currently in StarCraft. What's his form looking like? How does he compare to someone like Mute? Let's go. As we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Bing Bong Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Mute. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. Spawning in the top right-hand corner here, we have the Bolivian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is DarkUnnamed. Someone saying, I think this is supposed to be LATAM League. No, it's LATAM. LATAM is Latino America. Latino America. So, LATAM is correct. Is the word to be used. Here we go. As we are settling in. And again, once again, great to see DarkUnnamed back. Great to see him back. So far, I mean, we did see DarkUnnamed attempt the all-in. Unfortunately, he barely wasn't ready for the aggression of Mute. And to be fair, it was more aggressive than a standard game. Winding it back, if you recall, Mute did go for earlier blink than usual, which meant that he could be aggressive faster as well. So DarkUnnamed, he just wasn't quite ready for the earlier blink timing, so he lost the 4th base. And losing that 4th base may not sound like a big deal, but it also means that your reinforcements, your Ling run by your Ling Flood is delayed because you have less lava to work with, especially because you are going to be dropping your queens across the map with the drop lords, right? Because you're loading the queens up into the German taxi, that means less injects as well. So less injects, that's why you need the 4th base for the lava. Didn't have the 4th base. So that also did slow down the all-in. That also did hinder the Zerg play. So there's a lot that came into play there. Behind this, we do have our standard opener, gate expand into cybercore, likewise hatch gas pool out of DarkUnnamed. Let's go. El mundo. Oh, sí, papi. Este Noam Chomsky. Oh no. Why are you coping? Not like this, Noam Chomsky, not like this. But now though, Stargate Opener, once again, Stargate Opener out of Mute, a Stargate Opener into most likely Oracle. We'll keep an eye on Mute once again to see if he does go for another earlier blink timing. Likewise, we'll see if DarkUnnamed does mix it up. As a reminder, last game, DarkUnnamed, he went for a 420 layer timing. So he went for an earlier layer timing for earlier roach speed, and of course for the earlier overload speed as well. So we'll see if he does go for another early tech timing in such a way. Ready, go. And again, after the series, we'll be going over the entirety of the bracket. We'll be going over it. As this is the quarterfinals, round of 8. Round of 8. And today we only plan on hosting the round of 8. Next time, I believe in a week's time, we'll be hosting the semifinals and the grand finals as well. We'll get there. Until then, Mute claiming his third. Again, Oracle opener into his third base. Mute, he chooses not to be aggressive with the Adepts, so that tells me that DarkUnnamed... Ooh, that is an early... Jesus. Last game was a 420 lair time. This is what, a 340 lair timing even earlier here, and the Oracle will see everything. So nice scouts. The Oracle does dip into the natural. Spore is a little bit too late. 3-4 drones going to be going down, but that is an insanely fast lair. This should be for a Ling Queen Nidus all in. Yeah, there's a revelation. Like, Mute, he notices. He's like, oh my god, that's crazy. So I'm leaning towards a Ling Queen Nidus all in. This could also be like a Ling Queen Drop Lord all in. But I'm leaning towards Nidus just because there's no Overlord speed, right? There's no Overlord speed. Oh. 3 gases, I think that's still within parameters to afford a Nidus. No, 4 gases. 2 base Muta? This is for tech. If we're going up to 4 gases, this is either a Spire or a Hydrogen or Infestation Pit. There is a third option. It's a rare option, but that's also possible here to get into like Swarm Host, for example, and like Nidus Swarm Host. But yeah, this should not be for a Nidus Swarm. What do you have for us? There it is. We have the fast tech, not a Spire, not an Infestation Pit, Hydrogen. Okay, Hydrogen is on the way. Interesting. Now, oh, it's gonna get scattered. That's unfortunate. The Oracle dips in. The Oracle confirms the Hydrogen. So there was a little bit of ambiguity as to what was happening. And what I really love about the execution of DarkUnnamed, he will lose 3 drones. But if there wasn't a scout, up until this moment, Mute, gases here between the 2 bases would have been 3. That would have screamed Nidus. But the 4th gas was hidden here intentionally at the 3rd base. So I love that DarkUnnamed hid his gases, and he did spread them out to make it harder to read. Unfortunately, the main got scattered, right? Unfortunately, the tech was seen, so didn't quite come to pass. Wasn't quite able to fake out an all-in. I mean, I say fake out an all-in. This should still be an all-in. This does look like a 3-base 6-6 drone, like Ling Hydra all-in, where you skip Eva chambers and skip upgrades. Solar is quite fond of this. Like Solar, he does this quite a lot, where he just skips Eva chambers and does nothing but Ling Hydra. And it does look like this is going to be the case here as well, where you just only fixate on the Hydra upgrades. Back at home, good read. Shield batteries on the way, at least at the 3rd base. We do have a shield battery here at the natural as well, but we don't have too big of a commitment to site defense, not yet. Bearing in mind that, again, DarkUnnamed, he does not plan on droning. Like, he has drone up and he's cutting workers at 50. I believe, I think there is a variation where Solar does this on like 54 drones, where he stays on 4 gases, and I think he goes up to 2 base mineral income and like half the saturation here at the 3rd, around 54. But here we go, it's all or nothing. Ling Hydra all in out of DarkUnnamed. Unfortunately, for the most part, it got scouted. Mute, I'm a little bit concerned by the lack of site defense. He's working towards Storm. He's set up at home, but it doesn't feel like he's really respecting this too much. And here we go, the army has arrived. Now he throws down the site defense, but it's late. Yeah, late cannons, late shield batteries. Yeah, Mute, he saw everything he needed to, but this is a bit of a later reaction. This is risky. This is gonna be close. It's gonna be clutch. As Hydras, they push in towards the natural. This is the advantage on Ultra Love. You can just ignore the 3rd. You have all this side defense, and DarkUnnamed doesn't have to push here. He just ignore it. He can't just ignore this 3rd. And go for the Cybercore. Ooh, oh god. The storm pops up. The storms are brutal here. And he is pushing into the natural. Probes are going down, but another brutal storm. We gotta get up the ramp. There we go. Takes out the middle line. 19 probes go down. Cybercore as well. This is good damage, but he needs more. He needs more than this. As he's making his way into the main. Likewise, he has the high ground. Trying to buy some time. These Hydras, they will fall. And how many probes in the main? There's a cannon. There's a cannon in the main base. Like, this is good damage. Don't get me wrong. Like, 25 probes is good. Sniping the Cybercore is good. But we need more. We do need more. Lings to go for the Archosis pylon. Up the pylon. Oh, it's barely gonna go down. Just barely. Oh my god, never mind. Never mind. Goes down to 10 HP. The pylon survives. Everything stays powered. and Mute holds. Mute holds, and the concerning thing here is that Mute, he's building up more High Templar, more Storm, and getting into Charge. Remember, there's no Roaches, there's no Baneliness. Charge honestly can excel here. In this kind of game state, Zealots, we've seen them just mow through Ling Hydra easily. And I worry for DarkUnnamed. I do worry for him. Now, DarkUnnamed, he's still not joining. He's still massing up an army. I think best case scenario for DarkUnnamed is that Mute pushes and gets surrounded. I think if we can surround this army, then DarkUnnamed can still win this game and still kill this army as well and take it from there. Oh, but he's getting caught. He's getting caught out. Yeah, he's gonna lose everything. We spoke about it. Zealots do such a great job tanking, such a great job dishing out damage as well. Where are the Storms are? Yeah, the Storms are not coming in. Storms are a little bit late, but they will connect. Oof. Yeah, Storms on the Hydras, and these are expensive losses. DarkUnnamed cannot afford this. GG gets called, and Mute, he will survive the all-in. He will defend, and Mute will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Mute, he did scout. He did a great job scouting the 340 lair timing, scouting the fast hydrogen, confirming what was going on. It was a late reaction, and his reaction as well was throw down a wall of cannons and shield batteries at the third, not at the natural. So he took more damage than he needed to. Because of that, the game was a little bit closer. It was a lot more chaotic, but he still held nonetheless. And sure, he lost some mineral lines, sure, he lost some tech, but he could afford to. Right? His opponent was all in, Mute wasn't. Mute, he could afford those losses, and Mute, he snowballed from there. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Mute will claim the series. He will advance on into the semifinals, and we're here to find out who will face off against him. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the temporary Wikipedia page, as we are working on it, of course. Let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket, though. We can all catch up together. From the top, you can see here Mute takes down DarkUnnamed 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals or semi-finales. Meanwhile, we do have our next set of players here. Again, today we're covering the entirety of the quarterfinals. We do have Tabito, we have Tavo versus Eon in a TvZ, Tavo from Peru, Eon from Costa Rica as well, players that we have covered many times on the channel. Scrolling down, we have Sagan. Sagan is another player that did retire a long time ago. If you remember, back in 2021, I want to say, the era of Darkness. Not Dark, not DarkUnnamed, but Darkness. For those who remember, Darkness, he was the best Protoss player in Chile, and I would say the best Protoss in all of Latin America. Straight up, he was the best Protoss in Latin America. I was a big Diego fan. Not Kelazar. I mean, I'm also a big Kelazar fan, but Diego, Darkness, like he still shows up every now and then. Fun fact, I think it was like last week he showed up in our chat. I was like, Diego. But I was a big Darkness fan. Again, he was the best Protoss player in all of Latin America. This is like, again, like back in 2021-ish era of StarCraft. He only returned for like a season, or maybe like less than a year, I want to say, and then he went back to his studies. I think he was in med school. So of course, you know, that's he has a lot going on and had a lot going on. I think he's since graduated and now working in the field, of course, Dr. Darkness, if you will. But yeah, Darkness, he was in med school at the time, and if you remember, the best players, the Chilean scene was thriving back then. The Chilean scene was thriving. It was huge. We hosted StarCraft 2 Rebirth, which had 200 signups. No, I think it was over 200 signups and 200 check-ins, specifically only from Chileans. Like Chile, like there was just so much support from Chile. And of course, Darkness, he was the best player from Chile at the time. Dastan, if you remember Dastan, he was actually playing this tournament. Dastan, who also is now a medical engineer. I think he works on like X-ray machines, and he works on just machinery in the medical field as well. But Dastan, he was also a Protoss player. And if you remember, Darkness and Dastan, they actually they adopted Sagan. Like Sagan, back then he was Masters. Like back then Sagan, he was like an up and comer. I think they were all on Alpha X. They were all on Alpha X together, like Darkness, Dastan, and Sagan as well. And Sagan, like he was you know, improving. He was leveling up as a player. Like he was getting into GM, getting into Grandmasters, and they had like taken Sagan under his wing. And of course, over time, you know, Darkness, he stepped away from the game, he retired, and Sagan as well. Sagan, he also retired, I want to say, like back in like 2022-ish era of StarCraft, like a couple of years ago. And it was sad because Sagan, like there was a lot of potential in Sagan, a lot of potential, especially as he was being like mentored by Dastan and Darkness as well. So it was a little bit sad to see. And again, Sagani kind of like stepped away from the game, but recently he came back. When I say recently, I think he joined LTK. I think he joined License to Kill. Either that or Team Gosu, one of the two. He joined one of the two teams. Just double check, but he joined one of the two teams, and Team Gosu. That's it. He joined Team Gosu. In my mind, that they're the same, but so my apologies. Did join Team Gosu, and I think nowadays he shows up like in their power rankings, like in some of their like in-house tournaments. But I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, he's playing again. I don't think he's playing as much as he used to. That's a story for a lot of these players, to be honest. I think basically I'm gonna say that for everyone except for Mute. Like Mute is the only one that like commits like really hard and devotes a lot of time. Everyone else, they used to back in the day, right? Everyone else, they used to be like a little more committed a couple of years ago instead, and used to like devote everything to StarCraft. Nowadays less so. But yeah, Sagan was one of them as well. So and he was more of an up-and-comer. So Sagan, in my mind, he's maybe the weakest of the group here in the quarterfinals, but to make it to the quarterfinals is a good showing. So again, I haven't casted Sagan in years. We'll see what he's made of. You know what? I can double check. When was the last time I casted Sagan? I'm gonna check my YouTube channel, or our YouTube channel. Let's see. Sagan versus Pocket Mike 2020. I last casted him in 2020. So in my mind, he retired like in 2022. Maybe it was a little bit before that. that was the last time I casted Sagan. I mean, to be fair, he still continued to compete even though we didn't cast him as much. But yeah, he stepped away quite some time ago. Of course, Luciano, he is more of a modern player. Luciano is a player that rose up in recent times, not in the previous times. So I would say he's more of a modern player nowadays. Kind of like Mute, to be honest, kind of like Mute. I want to say Luciano, he rose up in recent years as opposed to the others that peaked in years past. Meanwhile, we have Password, of course, an old school veteran of the scene as well, was also kind of an up-and-comer back in the day. And we have Draconics as well. And it's been great to see a lot of these players return. Like Draconics nowadays, he's doing some casting. Honestly, Draconics, I really enjoy his casting. Obviously, he casts in Spanish. But we tuned into, he's been casting some Team League matches with his team. He's been covering some Team League matches, and his casting is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very high paced. It reminds me of Rumsley. Like, for those who remember, like, I was a big Rumsley fan. Like, yes, Rums. I miss him dearly. Like, Rumsley nowadays, I think he started like his own like beer company. I think. So he's no longer fully in StarCraft. I think he did some casting like maybe a year ago. Like, he came back like a year ago to do a little bit of casting for Invitational Esports. But big Rumsley fan, and he used to be one of the pillars of the StarCraft scene back in the day. Was I talking about Rumsley? Oh yeah, because of the casting. So yeah, Draconics is doing a little bit of casting as of late, a little bit, but mainly streams. Mainly is a competitor, and he mainly just casts like, you know, his own matches, or I should say like his team's matches and Latin American matches in general. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting lineup here. Again, all these players we have a history with. They're all near and dear to our hearts. As always here, for those who are maybe newer viewers of the CranKy Ducklings, we started in Latin America. Of course, we started, I think some of our first pro StarCraft that we covered was Copa America. That was back in 2019. Like, before we casted like the Koreans on a regular basis or the Europeans on a regular basis, we started with the Oceanic region, so like the Australians and those from like Southeast Asia and Singapore and Vietnam. And of course the Latin American region with Copa America and with Sentimiento Latino as well, and Batallas Americas back in the day. For those that were here back then, you know. So yeah, it's great to see a lot of these players return. Some of them, again, some of them being some fresher faces at least. And up next we have Tabito versus Eon. Let's go. Vetoes were underway, and we now have our next series in the broadcast.